Hey, it's Sarah Jane, and I am here with your dose of medicine this Tuesday. I'm back in my home office in South Africa. It actually snowed this morning, which is quite remarkable. We've got a cold front and cold weather that's really closed in Johannesburg, and we're having what seems to be unnatural winter. It's more like a Cape Town winter where it's raining and it's cold, and oops, it's telling me my connection is really weak. The joys of being back in a country where we don't have strong broadband, and also just invoked in me that coldness and this place and time for contraction of a song that keeps going over and over in my head and in my work, dealing and helping people to move through trauma. We always say things like, oh, let's go with the flow. I've spoken to so many amazing women today about, and actually in the past couple of weeks, on what it means to create heaven on earth. What does heaven look like for you? And what if it is truly possible to transcend above the heaviness, the contraction on the planet right now, that's not out of your true nature, that's not out of the natural flow and progression of becoming more aware, more mindful of what's going on around you, and not be sucked down into that depressive state again. Coming back here after being in a country that works, where things that sometimes first world countries take for granted, like running water and heating, and that if a train says it's coming at 17:04, it comes on 17:04, and it leaves when it says it's going to leave, has been a bit of a shell shock for me. And I woke up yesterday actually feeling a little bit like I could be in a state of depression, rather than pushing it aside and saying, wow, I'm depressed. Meeting myself there and saying, wow, what is this deep-seated feeling of depression that's coming over me again? And I've been talking a lot about this with my clients and within the group. Hi, Mohammed. Nice to see you here. And yeah, if you're tuning into this conversation off the cuff and totally spontaneous and unmuted, how do you create heaven on earth? How do you get through those moments of challenge where perhaps you're not feeling particularly fierce, or you're not particularly feeling fired up, and the weather is commanding that this is not a time to be all go, go, go. Row, row, row your boat merrily down the stream is great in going with the flow, but not if you're about to go over the ledge of the Victoria Falls, or yeah, it's great to see you too. This is a little distracting being on Facebook Live, but I'm loving your comments coming in. Yeah, so how do you create heaven on earth? And how do you keep yourself fired up in a place of knowing that the non-doing is exactly what you require right now? Lighting that internal fire, staying connected to the heart is, for me, one of the most powerful things one can do. Knowing that in going with the flow, there are times when we have to rest, we have to change course, change direction, and know that nobody can actually make you feel any other way unless you give power over them. I was speaking to a client earlier about this, where she sees her constant pattern of abuse being giving up her power to people so that they get what they want and she gets to stay stuck. So that eternal jailer process that we put ourselves in, where we don't allow ourselves the freedom to choose. And let's face it, if you're going to stay in alignment, if you're going to stay on track to really fulfilling your dreams, it's as simple as saying, what do I want in this moment? Not what do I need from a place of lack, but really going deep and being honest and truthful and really fierce with yourself about saying, what would that look like for me to actually ask for what I want? And when I speak about fierceness, when I relate to it, it's that ability for me, and about connecting to the part of me that can get passionate and grounded and fired up about claiming things for myself. And that's about asking that question and being honest about what is it that I need in this moment. and going there, regardless of what anyone else's point of view or projection or imposed manufactured point of view. Because let's face it, we manipulate people in order to get what we want. And we've been taught in this reality that manipulation is a bad thing. Hi, Neelam. Hi, Gail. Yeah, we've had these discussions many times too, because this is where we go into the suffering and the depression of not looking at where depression wants to take you, where anxiety wants to take you. And back to the commitment of how do I create heaven on earth? Well, I have to row my boat in the direction of what I want and away from the things that are not aligned to my greatest, highest good, that are not a kindness to my body. And that's where I'm so grateful that I get to do the work that I do with my clients, to be there, to stand in the fire when they're not able to stand in the fire for themselves. It's that direction of air, of possibility, of heart, to really mirror and show them what they're here to do. And give them that opportunity of choice, of not telling people what to do, but showing them who they are. Who are they being in that moment, so that they can rise above the thing that's threatening their livelihood right now, to get that nervous system to slow down and find that deep sacred chamber of the heart space, of the and get really quiet with that. And then choose from that awareness, from that mindfulness, through claiming the very thing that you're afraid of, to get you towards your goals and your dreams and your desires. And you cannot do that if you're sugarcoating it, if you're avoiding looking at what is, that people are going to function from wherever they are because they want what they want. And to honor that space of knowing it rather than avoiding it, so that you get to choose to step away or change direction. There go my haughty daughters agreeing with this. That really just from that place of, I'm creating heaven on earth as this beautiful bridge. We're going into the 8-8 energy, the Lion's Gate portal, which really encourages us and invites us at this time of the year, when this beautiful, courageous, lion-hearted energy comes through, so that we can roar our message, tell our story from an authentic place, a place where we get to say, I'm choosing this because I want it, and that want has to be bigger than your to-do list. And I see myself doing this, and I think that's another point that's worth speaking about right here, is that you can't know heaven. You can't create from your heart's calling if you don't know what you don't want. So it's about going into fear. It's about going into depression. It's about going into those parts of you that you don't like, and really holding that space for yourself as kindness, as love, to get familiar with what that is. And I've had so many moments in the past weeks where I had to get really fierce with the women in my tribe, with the women that showed up for my retreats and my workshops, and with my clients, and really tell them to cut it out, to cut out that place of self-judgment and self-loathing, and really show them where they were cutting themselves down, or going inward on themselves, protecting their hearts, or slumping their shoulders after claiming something for themselves, and then putting a but, or oh, I can't, or who am I to ask for that. So seriously, if you're doing that as a way to keep you from creating heaven on earth, your heaven, because you are a heavenly body, you're made up of the star seeds and so much possibility that is this beautiful quantum cosmic soup that we're all in together. And that by you choosing to be fierce and raw and bring in that lion energy, lions don't have a good time. Let me tell you, we might have been programmed to think that lions are the kings of the jungle, and they are majestic and they're beautiful and they're brave, but they also know when to surrender and move away. They're not going to expend energy chasing something that's out of alignment with their heart, they conserve energy. Winter is a time that really invites us to stay in the rest phase, to come inward and tap down into the roots, to stop trying to push out leaves when it's not the season to be sprouting leaves or making apples, right? It's about bringing the energy down and rooting that energy into the nutrients and the goodness that are in the soil. So seriously, be fierce with yourself. I want to just invite you this Tuesday, and I'm going to start trying to do more of these virtual meetups rather than words on a page, because I love this interaction. Hi Yale, nice to see you here. Yeah. So interact with me here. Tell me what's one thing that you can choose today, because you do know better. Seriously, you really, really do know what you want. And here's the thing. When we hold ourselves small, when we allow others to have dominion over us, like we're doing with the animal kingdom, like what we're doing with the earth, and I'm getting really hot and fired up here, which is a great way to not have to put the heating on, right? I'm like that fire in your belly. Take charge of your life. Take back your ownership, your dominion over yourself, that you already live in heaven. And be that portal, be that lion's gate, that fierce lion heart energy, where you can impact the world because you're choosing to be fierce and honest and true with yourself. Because when you're second guessing yourself, when you're questioning your leadership, when you're questioning that your story matters, when you're questioning that your wisdom, your PhD, that you are so worthy of, because this is your life experience and this is your journey, and that life is one big messy experiment. When you hold that back, that's abuse. That's not being fierce. That's not a kindness to you, and it's not a kindness to anybody else that's looking for you to be that light, to be that pilot light, to be that roar, that lion energy. And we're doing so much damage, not just to ourselves, but to the people that are waiting for you, that you can change just because you're being fierce and honest and authentic with yourself. Please don't hold that back. And if you're like me, you may have this beautiful thing called humility that also we're often made wrong for. So what does it mean to again, I go back to my work with animals, to this Christ consciousness, to knowing that the only way that we can create impact and create heaven on earth, not just for ourselves, but for the greater good of all life on this beautiful planet, is to start with honoring yourself. Start loving the parts of you that you don't feel worthy of loving. Start there. That's how you create heaven on earth, in my interesting point of view. And when you really don't share or speak up on your truths or your wisdom, or you downplay it because you don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable, or you want to be humble, and this is a big one. I've had a similar conversation with two people in the last 2 days. One of them said to me that even though she knew that what she was choosing she knew deep down in her heart that choosing that route or that person to guide her had nothing to do with her trusting that person. It had to do with trusting herself, that this is what was aligned with her in this moment of what she was asking for. Remember the question we started with? What do you want right now? And she said, oh, well, she'd already committed to doing this, and she didn't want to hurt this person's feelings. And I found that really interesting, right? Because this is something that, again, we're entrained to not trust ourselves, not stand up, not speak our voice, not be fierce and say, actually, this isn't going to work for me. Thanks, but no thanks. And love each other anyway, regardless of what we're choosing. And I want to ask, what would it take for you to create heaven on earth from this place of honoring yourself, of stop buying into the lies and the projections and rejections and expectations and separations that have been imposed and enforced and impelled on you, that being selfish or being humble is a weakness. Because it's not. Manipulation is a great gift if you're using it for the greater good of all. And you can't do that. You can't show up and be that for other people if you're not choosing that for yourself. So, it's not being humble. It's actually sending a big F you to your gifts, to your strengths, and to your abilities, to those that are looking up and looking for you, so that you can inspire them to be the best version of themselves. And I remember a few years ago when I was leading a retreat, and I was sitting at the front of the room closing the circle of the weekend, where the participants started to thank me for a great experience and a wonderful weekend, that I literally wanted to crawl out of my skin. I was so uncomfortable. And I remember calling one of my father figures who'd done a lot of front of the room leading. And I asked him if he'd ever had that experience of just feeling like he wanted the ground to open up and swallow him. And he just turned around to me and he flat out said, "No, I don't do that." And then he proceeded to tell me that me hiding from that, not being able to receive was such a dishonoring place, to not be able to receive that acknowledgement, and that it was I was hiding myself from my own strengths and my own gifts that I needed to actually own that space. And it was a really powerful conversation, and it was impactful for me because it made me really aware of how often we deny and refute our capacities to just by showing up, that we're changing something. And it doesn't have to be all thunder and lightning and high energy and rah-rah and woohoo and how does it get better than that. I'm a deep person. I'm able to say that without cringing anymore, because I don't do woohoo and I don't do something that I'm not anymore. And a lot of people are uncomfortable by that. They're turned off by that, and that's okay, because I'm not that person for you. If you want that, the woohoos and the yahoos and that place of making you feel less than you are. If you're depressed, I'm going to tell you that yes, you are. I'll hold that space with you until you choose to row your boat in a different direction. But that's the place of holding that I want to invite you into. And that's the place of acknowledgement that I want to say, I see you. And that doesn't matter, because until you can see you, you're never going to change the stuff that you don't want in your life. And it's telling me my connection is weak again. Wow. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Jody. Yeah. I'm showing up in an unmuted space for anyone who's willing to come play with me. And when I first found the courage to actually start speaking my truth, not somebody else's truth, not something that I was regurgitating as a different version of somebody else's belief, when I really started to own and acknowledge that I had something unique to me to share, it was big. It was big. It was a huge tipping point for me, because I had this emotional response to be able to see other people like myself, just like you, who also resonate with the fact that you were unable to claim and own your own gifts. And it hurt me deeply because of the journey that I took with it myself. And that was really a lot of judgment that was against the essence of who I came here to be. And the hardest thing in the world, I think, for all of us, and this is my awareness on it, and one where we hold back and dim our light is that it doesn't mean that we don't have impact when we're inside, when we're going deep inside. So here's what I invite you to do this Tuesday. Hey Charmaine, how are you doing, love? Totally agree with the point of not making too much noise. Yeah, and always woohooing. Absolutely, you know. If it doesn't feel good, why do it? Because everybody else is doing it. And I think that's the whole analogy too of the lion laying down with the lamb. It's being willing to know when that's required of you and it feels authentic in the place that you are, not because some business guru or some manual or some weekend wonder course has told you that that's how you have to be. And I see so much of this going on in the industry of consciousness that's actually very unconscious. And it makes my skin crawl, because that's not who I want to show up and be. So I want you to first of all take a breath and just love the parts of you that are perhaps going, no, I don't want to go there with me today, in creating your version of heaven on earth. Is I want you to just consider, right? This is about the non-action, but just considering where you are creating more of what you don't want, more suffering in your life, and where you are painting yourself false truths of who you are, or hiding behind integrity or moral value or humility, or being humble so much so that you're failing to hold space for your purpose, holding or creating a container for your vision of what do you want. It's such a simple question, and yet we find all the ways and reasons and justifications to trip ourselves up. So what do you want? Yeah, that. So I want you to stay with me in this invitation of the 8-8 energy of the Lionsgate portal, because that's the generosity of nature and the animals, to be fierce. And I want you to really get how important, how valuable you are, just as you are. That gift of imperfection, as Brene Brown calls it. Of going, even though you don't know where you're going. Being daring, being fierce enough to go anyway. You have 2 oars in your boat. Row, row, row your boat merrily down the stream. Life is not always dreamy. It's hard. It's challenging. Stress is always going to be there. But how you respond to it starts with loving the part that wants to respond. It starts with the part of you that wants to resist and doubt and make yourself wrong. So I want you to really get how important and valuable you are to you. You are your most valuable asset. And when you get that, then the other people that are looking for you get to value themselves through valuing you. How much presence, how much greater, how much more expansive are your gifts going to be? What you're bringing to the world as only you can. How much greater can that be from a place of inspiring you, lighting the fire in your belly first? From the places where you're not lit up, and owning that, holding the space for the parts that don't want to light up. And I want you, from my heart, more than anything else in the world, right now, in this moment, I want you to be fierce. I want you to roar your head off in how you see yourself, of what you are in this moment, and not be willing anymore. Of course you will. But for now, just to commit to stop making yourself small and invisible. To take the fierce heart, the lion heart in you, and roar your head off. Proclaim and commit that I am choosing this because this is what I want. Not what somebody else wants for you, not what your coach is telling you to do, not what your friends want you to do, because they're comfortable when you're predictable. But would you be willing to live unstoppable, undefinable, and so unpredictable that you actually have to stop yourself and go, oh my gosh, I think I just created heaven on earth. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm willing to enjoy even the parts that I'm not enjoying as this big, messy experiment that's mine and mine alone. Doesn't that feel so much more fun? Yeah. So I want you to just claim your purpose, your ability to hold it and create impact, and to really, really start to see and own your gifts around it. And here's the real deal. This is a long Tuesday message today. I'm just going to keep going with the flow, because right now it looks like it might hail or snow or rain again, and the light is magical outside. And we're in July. It's the energy of heart in Chinese medicine. And there's never been a better time. And I say this all the time because every moment in time is the space to come back to the heart, to connect, to heal this great separation sickness that we're all suffering from in this cosmic soup of so much fear and lack and scarcity, because things are changing whether we like it or not. So you can flow into the abyss, go down the wormhole, down the rabbit hole with everybody else. Jody. Wow, I need my glasses. Let me see. Speaking my truth. That's the second time I've heard that this week. I will reclaim my life's current energy. Yes, claim it now. It's yours. Take it. Awesome. Charmaine, I am my most valuable essence. Yes, you are. Your asset is your essence. You came in with that true essence to share love across the planet. And I love you for doing it, because you're doing a great job. And I acknowledge it and I see it. And I am so grateful that you're all here saying, yes, I'm choosing to create heaven on earth. I'm here because my story matters. So yay. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for owning it. So here's the deal. This is not the time in our world, in our consciousness, for those of us that are aligned to a deeper purpose, a knowing, a light, your inner pilot light. This is not a time to hide your truth or use your discomfort to not show up. It's just not. And the greatest thing that I can do to contribute to this beautiful planet and to my tribe and to all you incredible beings that have been part and are part of this adventure, this journey that is pretty damn freaking scary and awful. And I'd like to check out and hit delete and opt out of this reality often. But right now, let's continue to hold space for each other. To be the goddess warrior women, the fierce energy of honoring each other, of celebrating each other's successes, and celebrating the resilience that we're here still on this planet because we're choosing to make an impact, because we have overcome, because we've endured, as Horse says. And this is the energy of Horse. I mean, our horse's heart field is 600 times bigger than us. This is what I love about working with horses, because they know what it means to endure. Oh my gosh, have they not carried us and opened up continents for humans and been food and warmth and companionship? So as horse comes through me now, I ask you, as horse asks you, to celebrate your resilience, that you have endured, that you have known depression, that you've known what it feels like to be afraid, that you know what it feels like to be in lack and scarcity. And instead of asking for an easier load, ask for a stronger back. Your divine blueprint has given you this incredible physical body that is strong. You're supported not just by your spine, not just by your skeletal system, but the fascia. That's what holds us together in this physical form. So in asking, what do you need? What do I want in this moment? My Tuesday choice for you. My invitation. Get deep. What do I want in this moment that's going to make me more fierce, more aligned with my vision and my purpose, more in congruence with just how resilient, how worthy, how much I matter, how great I am. As Charmaine said, I am my most valuable asset. Go into the places right now where you don't believe you are. What do you want? What do you desire and require? Who are the people that you need to show you how brilliant you are, how valuable you are? Because that is the greatest thing you can do right now to contribute to your tribe, to the planet, to the animals, and to consciousness right now, is to continue to hold hands as I stand in energetic support in this circle that has no beginning and no end. It only has the choice as the infinity loop, the quantum resonance of healing ourselves, being accountable for that right now. As the thunder roars outside my window, I just love that. It's just like nature is cheering us on, even in a time of contraction, of cold. That fire in the belly, it's ready to be lit up. You are a divine spark. It's bigger than all of us. And that's my message for today. That's my intention as you hold witness to me in this moment. And please remind me when I'm out of congruence, because it happens so easy, right? Can we do that for each other? Hold space for each other. Celebrate our successes. Stand in the fire for your girlfriends, for your goddesspreneurs. Own the fact that nobody is waiting for anybody like you. They're waiting for you. This is bigger than all of us. And we can't be bystanders to our purpose because we see ourselves in such a distorted life. This is why we need tribe. We need people that are holding the same vision, to serve because you can, to be more generous than you were yesterday because you can. You have an inexhaustible amount of you to give to the world. So here's my calling forth to you. Be honest with yourself of where you're holding back, playing small, or holding humbling thoughts about yourself and your purpose. Get really fierce with yourself. Roar your message out into the world. Commit to holding a different truth about yourself. Get fierce in claiming your work matters, that you're valuable, and your commitment to go forth into the turbulence, into the storm, into the eye of the hurricane, and know that by changing direction, everything's going to change and it's going to look different. So as much as I love forward projection of saying, how will I feel? What will I want 6 months from now? That works in some places, but how can I choose what I want now and have that be enough? Because 6 months time, based on the current and the course, or the map, or the purpose mapping, or the track that I go on now, that's the flexibility that we need, right? Just as we know our heart's going to be, know the direction's going to change, in every 10-second increment of where you are choosing and committing to create heaven on earth for you now. Thanks, Kim. Love you too. Yeah. Let's go, ladies. Great, Jody. I love that. Tribe is so important. And that's one of the other things I want to leave you with is be honest with yourself of where you're holding yourself back, where you're playing a small game, where you're trying to make the lies true for you that are not yours in the first place. Send them back with consciousness attached, but don't buy into the lie. Don't try and make the lies true, because that's where we create resistance and suffering and guilt and blame and shame and all those other distractors that we don't want. And get really fierce with yourself. Commit to holding a different truth about you. Boo-hoo. I miss you too. Oh, I love this. This is so fun. Yeah. And then get support. We all need spaces held for us. So my invitation to meet me inside of accessyourtruenature.com, on my Facebook page, on Facebook Live like this, find the spaces that are aligned with you. Find the people. That's why I have mentors and I have coaches and I have a really solid tribe of sisters that see me and call me on my shit when I need it. Okay? Because I know one of my patterns is I don't know when enough is enough. So find a tribe. Find a place that's honoring and kind for you. And also a place where people are going to call you on your crap. Find a mentor that's going to hold you in the fierceness and the commitment to your purpose. And then show up. Show up from your heart. Show up vulnerable, naked. Open yourself up. Push down the heart walls. Forgive yourself. Share something. Speak a truth. Write a blog. Rant like I do. All for you, all for fun. Whatever you have and wherever you're holding yourself back, get it out there. The world needs your medicine. Not someone like you. Not a version of someone else's medicine. The world needs your medicine, as only you have it to give. And it's your responsibility to share it. So stop denying yourself the material support that you need to support your purpose. Where are you stopping you? What rescue of the past is a limitation of the present that if you would choose it, like so many of you are doing here. Hi, Anusha. Yeah. So what rescue of the past is creating a limitation of the present that you can create whatever you want to create. You can be whoever you want to be when you know what you want. That if you would just claim it and own it and say yes right now. So if you're with it and you're ready to clear this, just type yes into the comment section. Yeah. And anything that doesn't allow you to shift or change that now so that you can stand in your light and say, fuck you, I'm going. I'm choosing this no matter what, because your purpose is bigger than your to-do list. Let's just dissolve, transmute, delete, destroy and create all of that and tap back into your energetic blueprint, your divine diamond light code. Just allow that to come through you now. And call in your ancestral support. Call in horse. Call in lion. Call in your ancestors that lived well and died well before you. Right back to the first man and the first woman that ever walked the earth. Call on her. Call on that energetic support, whether it's Uriel or Gabriel, whether it is horse or chameleon that knows how to use color to create harmony, but also camouflage. Would you be willing to be the shapeshifter of your reality, to be the chameleon that gets to choose and choose again as you're rowing your boat? That you get to create heaven on earth. And don't deny your truth, there are people out there waiting for you. And there are also people out there waiting to support you. So don't deny yourself the truth that you need what you need. You want what you want. We need to make money to support our purpose. You can go so much further when you have it. And if any of you are interested, this is a huge theme that's coming up right now. The lack, the can't, I can't, I'm waiting. The windfall, the victimology of not enough. I posted a forgiveness blessing specifically around the energy of money, which is just where am I not willing to receive that I'm important, that I have value, that I am my most important asset, right? It's on my Facebook page. If you don't have it and you want the link, it's on my SoundCloud account. You know, I want to give generously because it fills me up. Currency is my connection. What's your connection? How do you create heaven on earth for yourself? Right? And be gentle above all. Be gentle on yourself as much as you're fierce. Remember that you can be the lion and the lamb. Not always together. There's a time and place for everything. There's a season for everything. So tap into your heart. Be gentle. Be kind and be loving with you. And feel the call. I really want you to feel the urgency at this time of heart energy, the season of, depending on where you are, but in Chinese medicine, we're in the month of fire energy, the month of heart and small intestine. And we're talking a lot about that within the Freedom 5, the Art of Stressless Living course. Feel the urgency, because there is urgency right now. I don't care how young you are or how old you are or where you are in your journey. There's an urgency here. Feel that and let it inspire you to take action, to row your boat down the stream and be willing to know that you have 2 oars and you can change direction at any time. And when you do that, you're going to claim your brilliance, your diamond brilliance, right? Be the uncut diamond. Be the diamond in the dust if that's what you want. Because your DNA, your blueprint has always been a beautiful, bright, strong light. And you just got to dim it over the years because we've gotten beaten down by the bad programming of this reality, the insane asylum I call planet Earth that we're all committed to and nobody knows it. So would you be willing to claim your brilliance today? On this Tuesday, create heaven on earth. Own your gifts. Acknowledge them. And when people give you praise or thank you, be willing to receive that as the energy of abundance. And I want to know. So if you're interested, if you're watching this after this live little blurb, what are you claiming today? What are you willing to own completely? And where will you be fierce? What do you want? And as always, I hold you in the depth and the fierceness and the roar of my life. I see my pituitary has got nice and red. Everyone used to say when I was a child, oh, I can see when you're angry, because my third eye would get really hot and fierce and red. And I'm willing to take that as a great judgment of my potential. So I'm glad my third eye is nice and red right now. So just know that I love all the parts of you that you're willing to claim. And I see the parts of you that perhaps you're not. And if I can support you in any way, it would be an honor. And just know that you're loved. You're so, so loved, even if you feel you're unlovable. And the love that is you and the purpose that you're meant to carry in the world, it's all there. You are a bright spark. So together, let's just tap into the heart and just honor that place of what it feels like to be in this beautiful time of community and connection, and coming back to the heart of all that is, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And what would it take to create heaven on earth?